Welcome to class. Today we're going to be dismantling the disillusion and fear-based narrative of paranormal experiences. My name is Violet Hatzagon. I'm an evidential psychic medium amongst many other things. Check the bio, follow, like. Let's begin class. So, brief background. I have actually had spirit visitations my whole entire life, but most of my life was spent fearing those experiences, particularly from the ages of 8 to my early adulthood. I spent a significant portion of my life feeling overwhelmed and very triggered by those visitations. So, with that, I spent a significant portion of my life striving to shut that door on a very important aspect of who I am today. So, flash forward to today, I not only practice evidential psychic mediumship, but I also teach it. And through my own personal experiences and truly perseverance of the psyche and the subconscious and the fear based narrative that very much circulates working with the spirit realm, I feel very, very strongly about dismantling a lot of these false, outdated, fear based narratives when it comes to the spiritual world. Now, I think the first thing that people need to understand is that our psyche, our subconscious, and our belief systems around spirit absolutely influence our experience and perception of the spirit world when we are in those heightened states of awareness. So, what does that mean? That means if you are already under the belief that spirit can and will harm you, that is exactly how your subconscious and your physiological being will respond when you have a heightened experience or a paranormal experience. There are even studies to show how physiologically intertwined these experiences can be when your belief system overrides your actual experience. Like so strongly that you can have physical manifestation on your body because that is what your brain is telling your body is taking place. That's a topic for another day. I'll get into it in another video. Your brain is also wired in just like a really amazing and very complicated way that it can either take something as truth, whether it's been seen, whether it's been heard, whether you've been told. You don't even have to have the actual physical experience to have an idea of how something will unfold because maybe you've seen it in a movie or someone told you their own personal experience. So it's very assumptive in that regard, and it's designed to really protect you and help you in this life, right? So, for example, you're watching a paranormal investigation show, and someone has gone in there and said, I felt spirit push me, try to push me down the stairs, or I felt spirit try to wrap their hands around my neck and choke me. If you yourself go into that same house, place, facility, and have a awareness to that spirit's presence, your brain is going to like surpass just the experience itself and tell you this is what's taking place. That's actually an example I like to give my students in class. And now I want you to think about it in two different contexts. So that example, spirit grabbed my neck. I felt this presence and this pressure around my neck, and spirit was trying to choke me out. Now, that's a perspective from someone who doesn't know any different, that is very much living out that fear-based disillusion narrative versus someone who has not only done their own personal work, but also has consciously and intentionally learned about the spirit world and has strived for their own mediumship development. And from that lens, going into that same house, that same experience, and feeling that presence, the person who is developed, who is seeing through clear lens of the reality, not their subconscious narrative and belief system, is going to have the same experience, but understand that spirit is expressing some type of congestion in the throat chakra. Perhaps that spirit wasn't able to communicate clearly. Perhaps that spirit unalive from something dealing with the throat. Perhaps that person had throat cancer. Like there's so many different avenues of what that expression could truly mean when it comes to the evidence of that spirit is trying to express. You see the difference? I can say that my experience with the spirit world, and I've had a lot. I'd like to say I've quite literally been on both sides of the spectrum in my own personal journey. That truly what comes from the other side is unconditional love, and compassion, truthfully, because in the integrity of everything, we are all an extension of God or creator of source, the highest vibration of love and light. Each and every one of us is an expression of that. But we have a human experience that, is conveyed and reflected in different levels of emotional expression. And so, if you yourself are aware of your connection with the spirit world already, and you currently fear it or you don't understand it, that's the biggest thing too, is not understanding it, which instantly leads to fear as well. I encourage you to do your deeper work on your personal healing journey, and then strive for education and opportunities to practice, to be mentored with mentors that do not instill fear and do not instill dependency, because I can promise you they're not in alignment for your highest and greatest good. And strive to better understand it, because I think the biggest shift in my perception and being was better understanding what was actually taking place. And from that knowledge, I was able to then apply it to not my professional practice, but my developmental practice, if you will, where I was able to just experience it for what it was and then practice deprogramming that disillusion to reprogram my perception and truth and integrity. So if you yourself are again interested in working with the spirit world, in strengthening your relationship with spirit, or perhaps your craft or your ability with mediumship, strive to develop, strive to grow. I offer self-paced workshops through my academy, and every few months I also offer a foundational developmental mediumship workshop. So keep your eye out for that. Follow along with me on this page too, because I also like to share a lot of education and knowledge. And thanks for listening.